flowers or gifts.
Would you have put Caitlin Clark on the Olympic team?
Right now?
No, no. This past Olympic team.
I knew you were going to ask this question. Honestly, I have to just say that I respected the committee's job. I understood what was at play. I understood the pros and the cons, I guess, if you want to lay it out that way. And I think at the end of the day, it's hard to criticize a gold medal. A lot of people see the final game against France. They see, only winning by a couple points, and they view that as some sort of indicator. But the reality is we've been having close games at the Olympics for years. I can attest to that. So that wasn't really that new. Winning a close game like that wasn't new. That didn't have anything to do with the roster.
Hold on to your seats because the WNBA is officially panicking after Team USA made a major change for Caitlin Clark. Yeah, you heard that right. This move has the league scrambling, and it's about time. The WNBA has been acting like Caitlin's not even a threat. The refs are a whole other disaster. And now, Sue Bird just dropped a bombshell in her latest interview. Spoiler alert, it's not pretty. Stick around because we're about to spill the tea on why the WNBA's worst nightmare just came true.
I think the beauty of USA basketball and what we have going in this country is all the talent, and that's always been the case. So I kind of just don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
I think that's how I'm coming in. But I know being a player, bringing that perspective, it's going to make my ability to support this team unique.
If you've been living under a rock lately, lucky you, here's the scoop. The WNBA is having a meltdown. Why? Because Team USA just made a game-changing move. Sue Bird is now managing director. Yep, the basketball legend who probably knows more about the game than the entire WNBA staff combined. And what's got everyone in a panic? Sue's about to give Caitlin Clark the spot she was snubbed for last year. The WNBA is about to be shaken, and it's going to be glorious.
Hooligans, Cheryl Reeves included, so full of themselves, so bound by tribalism that they just couldn't look past their own nose. And at the end of the day,
the WNBA's reaction? Classic. Mess up big time and then pretend it never happened. Last year, Caitlin Clark got snubbed, but Sue Bird doesn't play that game. Caitlin's one of the best, and her talent made the WNBA look completely clueless. Now that Sue's calling the shots, Caitlin's a lock for Team USA. The WNBA? They'll be stuck watching from the sidelines while Caitlin dominates on the world stage. It's about to be glorious, and they know it.
So, as you know, Cheryl Reeve, head coach of the USA women's basketball team, has also been getting a little bit of backlash, right? Yeah. And now she's decided to make her X profile private. This is kind of the still same realm of what we're talking about, Dan.
Well, you're supposed to be above it. I always felt like as a coach, I got to watch everything because I got to lead. And whether it was going into a team meeting, I wanted to be prepared. If I was having a meeting with a parent, I wanted to be prepared. A player, I wanted to be.
Yes. Caitlin Clark, the star player who single-handedly made college basketball actually fun to watch for a change, is finally getting the recognition she deserves. And let's face it, it's about time. Last year, Caitlin got the classic WNBA treatment. Snubbed. She was left off Team USA despite her on-court dominance. But now, with Sue Bird at the helm, things are about to get real interesting. You know Sue's gonna pick her. In fact, it's pretty much a done deal. The league's about to get hit with the cold, hard truth that Caitlin Clark is an absolute phenom. And maybe, just maybe, they shouldn't have treated her like an afterthought.
Controversial, the most talked about story of the 2024 season. You want to know? You want me to tell you? Okay, I'll tell you. It was Caitlin Clark being snubbed from the Olympics. Yes, that story, that headline that had Stephen A. Smith talking, that had everybody and their mama talking. And what's crazy about it, we all remember the storyline. Diana Taurasi got to get her sixth medal to make history, and then ultimately she got benched. Now, what if I was to tell you that the WNBA made it their business to clean house? What did I tell y'all at the beginning of this offseason going into this preseason? Kathy Engelberg is going to get rid of everybody that wronged Caitlin Clark.
Let's rewind for a second. The WNBA, that glorious beacon of professionalism, has spent years making questionable decisions. They've had a talent for sidelining the best players, for forgetting about the real stars while focusing on whatever nonsense is happening with the refs. The refs, by the way, who have been a consistent problem. It's like they have no idea what a foul is unless it's committed against someone wearing a WNBA jersey. Caitlin Clark, of course, was a victim of this. The refs were basically allergic to calling fouls in her favor last season. But why bother calling fouls when the WNBA can just pretend Caitlin doesn't exist, right?
Is expected to be announced as the managing director for the USA women's national team for the 2028 Olympic cycle. She will take on what is known as the Grant Hill role, selecting player rosters and coaching staff. And for those of you who aren't too familiar with the WNBA or the women's side of Team USA, and Grant Hill's a little bit new in this role, Jerry Colangelo role.
And then came the snub. Caitlin Clark, fresh off an MVP-way season in college, was sitting there, watching as Team USA got announced, and somehow she wasn't on the roster. People were left scratching their heads. Was it a fluke? Was it an oversight? Or maybe it was just the WNBA doing its thing, pretending the most electrifying player in the country didn't exist. Sure, they made some feeble excuses about team chemistry or whatever, but the truth is simpler. They were scared. Caitlin Clark had just turned college basketball into a highlight reel, and they couldn't handle the heat.
I wonder who they're going to pick as the coach. Because obviously she's UConn. Who's she going to pick for the players? Like, there is going to probably be some UConn freaking bias here with Sue Bird. But of all the UConn people, she's the least likely to have full-on UConn derangement level bias. Like, there's definitely going to be some UConn bias. But, like, I don't think it's going to be, like, derangement level from her.
So fast forward to today, and Team USA has officially hit the reset button. In walks Sue Bird. Yep, that's Sue Bird. The one with the championship rings, basketball IQ off the charts, and the savvy to know exactly what makes a winning team tick. She's now stepping into the role of managing director. And if you think for a second she's going to leave Caitlin Clark out of the mix this year, well, you might want to go check your pulse, because you're clearly not living in reality. Sue Bird is here to do one thing: build a squad that can dominate the world stage. She's not interested in tiptoeing around the politics of the WNBA or playing nice with anyone who might have an issue with a certain rising star. Caitlin Clark is an absolute machine on the court, and Sue Bird isn't about to let that slip through her fingers. So mark my words, Caitlin is a lock for this year's Team USA roster, and when it happens, the entire WNBA might as well prepare for the drama.
Sue Bird won 4 WNBA championships. She was an All-Star 13 times, one of the more decorated basketball players in history, and also a 5-time Olympic gold medalist. Just named USA Basketball Women's National Team Managing Director. That's a hell of a title there. Is that on your business card? And what exactly does that mean, Sue?
Need like a business index card at this point or whatever.
Meanwhile, the WNBA is panicking. They had their shot with Caitlin Clark, and what did they do? They let her slip through their grasp like a bad draft pick. Now they've got Sue Bird breathing down their necks and Caitlin's name on every highlight reel imaginable. The league is desperately trying to figure out how to save face while knowing they've been outclassed by a player they couldn't even bother to respect properly. And let's not forget those refs. Remember how they had a habit of acting like Caitlin Clark was playing against the invisible woman when she was getting hacked every other possession? Yeah, the WNBA might be sweating buckets now that they realize the player they snubbed is about to be front and center on the world stage. Buckle up, because when Sue Bird makes it official, it's going to be a whole new ball game. And the WNBA will be left eating their mistakes.
In the 2020 Women's Olympics, the best point guard was the best point guard on Team USA or for America was Chelsea Gray. At that stage, I'm guessing Skylar Diggins was second best, but if you're looking right here, what point guard did they bring? They brought Chelsea Gray. They brought Sue Bird. Who was the starting point guard? Sue Bird. Sue Bird started at the 1 because it didn't matter. Was she better than Chelsea Gray? No. Just like in 2024, I'd say they felt bad that Chelsea Gray was by far the best point guard in the WNBA.
The refs, oh, the refs. Let's just say if the WNBA was a reality TV show, the referees would be the overdramatic villains everyone loves to hate. These guys were acting like they had an unspoken pact with the universe to make Caitlin Clark's life as difficult as possible. Seriously, it's like they were auditioning for a role in the next comedy special, and their big bit was pretending Caitlyn didn't exist. She'd take the ball, zoom past defenders like a rocket, get hacked in midair, and what did the refs do? They'd blink. Just blink. As if Caitlyn wasn't about to get mugged by a group of defenders. If the refs had a sound effect every time they missed a call, it would have been crickets. I mean, where's the whistle, guys? Is it hiding under your desk? You can't make this stuff up. The WNBA might as well have handed Caitlyn a cape because she was basically playing basketball in superhero mode while the refs were busy living in some alternate reality where fouls don't exist.
Sue Bird won 4 WNBA championships. She was an All-Star 13 times, one of the more decorated basketball players in history, and also a 5-time Olympic gold medalist. Just named USA Basketball Women's National Team Managing Director. That's a hell of a title there. Is that on your business card? And what exactly does that mean?
But just when it looked like Caitlyn Clark might need a miracle, or at least a functioning set of referees, enter Sue Bird, gliding in like the composed, battle-tested legend she is. While the WNBA continues treating Clark like she's just lucky to be there, and the refs are apparently competing in a who can miss the most obvious foul contest, Sue Bird isn't having any of it. This isn't some casual drop-in. Sue Bird isn't just a former player. She's a walking trophy case. Multiple WNBA titles? Check. Olympic golds? Of course. Basketball IQ that could power a space launch? Absolutely. Now, as the managing director of Team USA, Sue isn't just here for photo apps and pep talks. She's here to clean house. The same WNBA that can't seem to figure out how to protect one of the most high-profile rookies in years is about to get a serious reality check. Because Sue's not going to let Caitlyn Clark be treated like background noise. She knows the game, she knows the politics, and she knows when the officials are full of it. And if the WNBA can't respect Clark, then Sue Bird will make damn sure Team USA does. The refs can keep blowing calls, but they better be ready, because Sue's about to start blowing the whistle on them instead.
It's another year and another case of WNBA referees dropping the ball, not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlyn Clark. Bruh, how we one game away for the start of the season and we have already Caitlyn Clark getting fouled extremely hard. Look back at the referee like, damn, you didn't just see me get annihilated in the head, and the referee, nothing.
Let's take a moment to appreciate the WNBA's brilliant decision-making. And by brilliant, I mean the kind of brilliance that makes you wonder if they're actively trying to fumble the bag. Because when it comes to Caitlyn Clark, the league has managed to do what once seemed impossible: make fans less excited about one of the most electrifying players to enter the game in years. You'd think having a walking highlight reel would be good for business, but the WNBA's approach? Treat her like a background extra. Seriously, it's like they handed her a jersey and then handed the refs a playbook labeled "Ignore at all costs." And speaking of refs, oh boy, the officiating. If bad calls were a sport, the WNBA would be undefeated champions. Caitlyn drives to the basket, gets hammered harder than a nail at a construction site, and somehow, no whistle. Meanwhile, if someone breathes near one of her opponents, we're hearing the shrill blast of justice in 0.2 seconds. It's almost as if the referees got a memo. If you see Caitlyn getting fouled, look the other way. Maybe check your phone.
Focus on is Caitlyn Clark, because she got pushed 2 times in this game, and they were really hard pushes. And I'm not against the I'm so for the chippiness. It's not going to do anything but make Caitlyn better. It's not going to do anything but give these players more notoriety. I'm all for it. These players are playing hard defense on Caitlyn Clark. I love it. They're chasing her around. I love it. What I don't love is the push. The push is crazy. You push her down. That's crazy. There were 2 plays in this game that were not basketball plays. And on both of these plays, she got pushed to the ground. The refs didn't call it.
Maybe contemplate your life choices. Just don't call it. And let's not pretend this is just a few missed calls. This feels systemic. A league-wide commitment to making sure Caitlyn Clark doesn't get the star treatment she's clearly earned. The WNBA had a golden opportunity to elevate the sport's visibility with her, to build hype, grow the fan base, and bring in fresh eyes. Instead, they've managed to alienate fans by letting their referees treat her like she's playing in an invisible cloak. This isn't just about bad calls. It's about a culture that seems actively resistant to embracing one of the best things to happen to women's basketball in a long time. So while the league pats itself on the back for parity and team building, they might want to take a second and look around. Because when you've got a star like Caitlin Clark lighting up the court and your only response is bad officiating and worse PR, that's not growth, that's self-sabotage.
The preseason is now over, and we're about 7 days away from the start of the season. And I'm telling you right now, it's already kicking off with drama, bro. It just is what it is, dog. There is so much high expectations on the line for Caitlin Clark this year. She's already pretty much the front runner to win the WNBA MVP. There's championship or bust issues going on with this team.
However, Sue Bird, she's the absolute game changer we didn't know we were waiting for. The WNBA thought they could play the long game by ignoring Caitlin Clark and somehow get away with it. Spoiler alert, they were wrong. Sue Bird has been around long enough to know exactly what's up. She's seen it all, the talent, the drama, the questionable decisions, and most importantly, how to actually build a championship-worthy team. So when she steps into her new role as managing director of Team USA, one thing is crystal clear. Caitlin Clark is finally going to get the recognition she's deserved for ages. It's not even a question, it's a done deal. Sue isn't here to make friends or play political games, she's here to win, and guess what? Caitlin Clark, she's about to be the star of the show. The WNBA had every chance to jump on that bandwagon, but instead they kept pretending like the best player in the country wasn't even there. Well, Sue's taking the wheel now, and Caitlin is getting the spotlight she's been robbed of for far too long. And let's be honest, the WNBA, they're going to be in the back seat, watching in awe as Caitlin Clark steals the spotlight on the world stage. They'll be trying to explain how they didn't see this coming, but it'll be too late. Caitlin's already gone, and Sue's making sure of it. The WNBA messed up by failing to treat her like the megastar she is. But that's Sue's problem to fix now. So buckle up, because Caitlin Clark is about to put on a show, and the WNBA will be left picking up the pieces of their own bad decisions. Let the Sue Bird magic unfold.
Yeah, I think it's really special. I think it's cool. Like, you know, this is exactly what we wanted for women's basketball, but also I feel like, you know, it could have been a thing a long time ago. There's been so many amazing stars in our game, and there's been so many amazing people to support our game. Like, it's not surprising that everybody's wanting to talk about it right now, but the product has always been there. Maybe it's, you know, on an increased level, and I think that goes back to my first point is, you know, the parity in our game, the stars in our game, the young talent in our game. You know, people are just attracted to that. They love watching the competitive fire.
So what's next for Caitlin Clark? Well, after Sue Bird makes sure she gets her spot on Team USA, we can expect to see her dominating on the world stage. The WNBA, they'll be stuck explaining why they didn't see this coming. Maybe they should have spent more time focusing on basketball instead of whatever else they've been doing over there. Caitlin Clark's time is now, and the WNBA is just going to have to deal with it. They've been outplayed, outsmarted, and outclassed by one of the brightest stars the game has ever seen. And honestly, it's about time. The WNBA is having a full-on meltdown, and I'm here for every second of it. So buckle up, because when Caitlin Clark takes that spot on Team USA, you can bet it's going to be one heck of a ride. And hey, at least Sue Bird will be there to make sure the WNBA doesn't mess it up again.